Feminist Astrologer, and this is your Inner Goddess reading for Taurus Sun, Taurus Rising, and Taurus Moon. So, my lovely Taurian goddess, what's going on in your head? What's the dialogue that you're telling yourself? Is it positive? Is it negative? You have 8 of Wands and 4 of Swords. So these are almost at odds with one another. And so maybe you're very conflicted within yourself. One is a rush of movement and one is a complete standstill. So, maybe you're conflicted about how you can move something forward quickly or if you should wait and see what's going to happen. You may be going within, you may be communicating with divine source or your inner voice. You may be doing a lot of spiritual contemplation. It could be that you are recuperating. You're in recovery mode, or you're making peace with the words that you speak and what you're putting out there. The 8 of Wands speaks of movement, something happening quickly, communication, travel. And so those could be vital issues that are important to you. Getting something launched off the ground, moving forward. And whether you feel overwhelmed by that, whether you're ready, you're at peace with how quickly something is moving, you've got everything in place, the foundation is there, the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. But the 4 of Swords may be wondering if you're ready for this forward movement. You're contemplating what your next move is. And maybe you're looking for some kind of communication that hasn't arrived yet. And if that's the case, your mind may be running in wild places, wondering what's going on, what's happening, what's the outcome, why haven't I heard? On the other hand, the more comfortable you are with yourself and where you are right now, regardless of the tempo of a situation, you're at peace with that. You're prepared. If it's moving, you're fine. If it's not moving, you're not coming to the worst case scenario within your mind. It could be that you're also waiting for something. You may be waiting for someone to clear the air, or waiting for someone to give you an explanation, waiting for an apology that may or may not come. So you're trying to figure out what to do. And again, it may tie to communication or travel or trying to quickly launch something, or whether you're feeling overwhelmed. You need to recuperate. You need a time out because things are just moving along so quickly you can barely catch your breath. But you have do you. So you need to move at your own pace, whatever that is. And perhaps this is also about being at peace with what you put out there, how you speak, what you're saying. So this is about getting in touch with your own authentic self. You may be going within to determine whether you're expressing yourself adequately, genuinely, authentically. So this is about you, doing you. Now, Taurus, what's going on with your body? How do you feel about yourself? Are you comfortable in your own skin? Are you honoring your body as the temple that it is? Or is there some kind of shame going on? Are you uncomfortable with yourself? You have the Page of Cups and the 2 of Pentacles. So you may be going back and forth about how you feel. Some days maybe you feel great, and some days not so much. Some days maybe you feel like you look like $1,000,000, and then other days you're not really pleased with how you're looking. There's an emotional roller coaster, a seesaw, where your feelings are changing. And perhaps your body image or how you are viewing yourself or your health, maybe something is changing significantly for you. It's moving in a different direction, again, for better or for worse. And you're having perhaps a more realistic outlook about your physical capabilities rather than so much idealism. Maybe you're not as hard on yourself. It could be you're going to gift yourself with something. Maybe you're going to take some time to do little things for yourself. It could also be that your feelings about juggling responsibilities, trying to keep so many balls in the air, has an effect on your health physically, emotionally, and mentally. You may be lacking resources, or you may be receiving a gift. You may be considering options or choices or opportunities. You may be spread too thin, physically, financially, emotionally, and it's wearing on your body in some way. As a matter of fact, for some of you, maybe you're experiencing some kind of anxiety, or you're exhibiting some negative behavior, or that of others is having a bearing on your health. For some of you, you may be dealing with skin issues, up and down weight problems, issues with your teeth, swollen joints, arthritis. Maybe you just feel run down from trying to keep things stable, and it's easy for you to catch the flu. Maybe your immune system is down. So there's some ups and downs to your situation and how you feel physically. But you do have this ace in the hole, which is positive. So maybe things have turned for the better. There's a hidden advantage that you have physically, as far as how you're looking. It's a resource that you've kept in reserve until needed. And again, it may be some kind of gift. Maybe you have a gift for healing yourself, or choosing what's right for you, or making the right choices, or prioritizing in a way that improves your health and well-being. Now, what is your spirit, your creativity level? What drives your passion? What are you pursuing? Are you excited? Is it falling flat for you? You have the Four of Wands reversed and the Five of Swords. Now, the Four of Wands is one of the most beneficial cards in the entire deck. It's a very lucky card, and so it has very little negativity in reverse. The Five of Swords, though, is a very negative card, and you may be dealing with negative energy with regard to some of your projects or your passion or your creativity. Maybe you can't get yourself motivated. Maybe you can't get a project off of the ground. Maybe you're meeting with criticism in others. Others are maybe trying to take control or steal your ideas or undermine your efforts. So you may be going in circles and feeling very frustrated. Maybe you've made some mistakes. You thought you went over something thoroughly, and yet at the end something has fallen through. So the negative energy may just push you, compel you to do something. Your frustration makes you finally address something where you haven't been able to get that thing off the ground or get going. And you finally do something to figure out where you stand. And whatever the response is, maybe you're not happy with it, but at least you know where you are. Now, the Four of Wands says that you're not quite happy. Maybe you're happy on some level, but there's something missing. Something is incomplete for you. You may be experiencing something where it's bittersweet. It's a sad and happy moment. For example, your kids are moving away. This is an empty nest, or your kids are going off to college, or there's some kind of separation, or a family member goes off on their own. And so while you're happy to see that happen, it tugs at your heart. Or maybe it's time to leave or sell the family home. It could be a social event that didn't turn out the way you want. Maybe it was canceled, or it wasn't as celebratory as you had hoped. Or maybe you're going to connect to people, and while you do want to see them, you have some hesitancy, some reticence, maybe even some dread about reconnecting. some uncertainty. Maybe if you're looking at your own projects, there's something that you're doing where you feel like maybe you could do it better. Maybe the service that you're providing is not up to par. Or you've made some flubs, some errors. It could be that you're being especially hard on yourself, that these aren't really that significant. For some of you, there's the ace in the hole could be that there's a return to good health. If you've had to have a medical procedure that has interfered with your creativity or the ability to pursue something, maybe the medical procedure is successful. So you are going in circles, dealing with some frustration, some negative energy where you haven't been able to put something on a solid foundation. You haven't been able to get it going, or if you did, you weren't quite happy with the results. You also have don't look back. So this is a time just to build on your progress. If you make a few mistakes along the way, or you have to leave something, as sad as it may be, it's time to look ahead. The message is don't look back. Now, what is your strength, Taurus? Your super strength, your goddess strength, the thing that's going to help you manifest. You have the Nine of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. So maybe there's some anxiety about getting cooperation. You're taking a look, again, at the flaws of the foundation, the cracks, and, where something is not quite what it should be. So this is about the group dynamic, maybe counseling, court, others involved, and you're looking at what's wrong and what's right. This is about self-improvement in some way. So for some of you, it's about trying to better your craft or your skill through knowledge of others, looking at self to see how you can improve, make something better. And so you may have to work with other people to get something done. This is about having a well-conceived plan, being able to follow instructions, getting cooperation, developing your skills. Maybe you have to make presentations. Maybe you have to demonstrate something, evaluate, criticize. Maybe you're working for hire. So this is about your artistry, your apprenticeship, and again, the improvement and patronage and support from key people. So for some of you, there's some anxiety. You're having to prove yourself, a test of some sort. And so this is about rising up in the ranks. And that's your special skill. Overcoming this anxiety about making some improvements, discovering what's wrong and how to right it. And the message here is fly solo, especially if you feel that too much is holding you back, whether that is baggage of your own or emotionally clingy people, insecure people. The message is to get over your anxieties about trying to gain perhaps some kind of cooperation and fly solo. This is also about, being comfortable with your own choices and allowing other people the personal freedom to make choices. So someone in your life may be, doing something that you don't necessarily agree with, but this is allowing them that choice, knowing that they have to fight their own battles. So there's some kind of anxiety about getting cooperation. But your special goddess power is the ability to fly solo, to rise above a situation, to make the necessary improvements or renovations, whether it's with regard to your talent or your skills. It's putting in that hard work. So this is it might even be about, gaining some kind of fame or starting something that brings a profit. So this is about gaining success, passing the test. Now, what's your love lesson? And this applies to you or someone you're involved with. Sometimes what looks like a weed is really a wildflower. So again, you may be pursuing something, a passion of yours, a creative endeavor, a relationship, a connection, and perhaps you don't immediately recognize the potential. But this is saying, look closely, look closer, because there could be some merit there. Maybe something is not following the pattern, the expected path. And yet there's a beauty to that. Now, what is the goddess archetype that you are meant to embody during this period? You have Saraswati, mastery, which that blends in very nicely with the rest of your message. Making that improvement, rising to the occasion. So let's see what that is all about, Taurus. Mastery is a genuine sense of effortless knowledge after a period of dedicated immersion. The Hindu goddess Saraswati asks you to enter her domain of art, language, knowledge, music, and poetry, and make this commitment to go the distance. Immerse yourself, body, mind, and spirit, in discovering all aspects of what is at hand. Learn and then learn more. Right now, if you adopt the role of apprentice and are willing to devote your heart and mind to something, you will become a true master. Deep wisdom knows only continuous learning. No matter what question you've come to explore, the goddess Saraswati reminds you that the pursuit of mastery is never ending. So enjoy every minute of it. So, that's a powerful message about pursuing. Do you be your authentic self? There's some kind of gift, something that you have to offer, a unique message. And even if you make mistakes or errors, the message is don't look back. You've got an ace in the hole. There's some kind of hidden advantage, especially when you're willing to go it alone. When, in spite of negative feedback or others won't cooperate, you're willing to keep putting in the time and effort to rise and master your craft, your skill, or your knowledge. Now, the last message from the universe is, when I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher, I will always be guided back to the light. So this is opening yourself up to the positive, what the universe is trying to show you, expressing your gift, allowing divine energy to flow through you, and you'll always be guided on your path if you're open to that. Now, the underlying energy is this Emperor, and screw that. Now, that's an interesting combo. For some of you, the energy behind this may be an Aries person. It could be a very strong, dominant figure, particularly male figure. This could represent the head of the company itself. It could represent your husband, boyfriend, somebody aggressive, maybe overbearing, because there are some control issues at stake. Maybe this is about your work, but more importantly, this is about your sense of personal security, your sense of belonging, and that's going to be the motivating factor behind your decisions and your actions right now. This could be a project that you're focused on, or your leadership skills. It's about taking charge, gaining your independence, and your own personal power. So as far as screw that, there may be some kind of job or situation that maybe you let go of. Or maybe you're dealing with people in authority that are trying to change your ability to produce or change your vision or your concept. And this says screw that. Walk away from that and don't look back. Because this is about claiming your own power. You may be given more authority over something. So this is your time to shine. And you're going to find that during this period, you're willing to step up to the plate and do more and be more responsible for your own happiness, your own security. So you're going to be speaking very direct. You're going to be doing you. And so you may be at peace with how you deliver a message because you're being very assertive. You're strong in your conviction. You know what you want. You've got an ace in the hole because your feelings have changed about, whether you're getting enough, whether you have enough. And the anxiety that you may have felt in the past about gaining some cooperation, you're willing to be independent and take a leadership role to provide for yourself. So now this is going to tie to your 12th house. And that's all the psychological debris, the skeletons in the closet that perhaps you haven't dealt with. There could be some issues also of confinement, hospitals, health, psychological issues. Could be issues of compassion, charity, spirituality. So you're really digging deep into that inner stuff and deciding what you need to close the door on. For some of you, this is the house, of course, of hidden enemies. And you're having to confront people or situations that may be trying to undermine you. It's also where you're having to look at where you may be undermining yourself. Wherever Aries is, and this is on your 12th house cusp, this is where you can be very enterprising. You seek new initiatives. Maybe you're very involved in spirituality or something compassionate or something charitable. Maybe you're dealing with psychology or something that is hidden or secretive. This is where your motivation is going to be applied to, your ambition, your desire, a behind-the-scenes influence. And this is where you can act in your own interest, either constructively or destructively. This is where you're going to put yourself first, and where you can meet with some kind of conflict. Maybe you're dealing with large institutions. You may be dealing with the court system, the educational system, some kind of system. And it's where you're going to have to be fearless, courageous, and direct. But it's also where you can be reckless, where you can be rash and impulsive. This is where you've got to fight for yourself, or you're actually fighting against yourself. So again, you may be dealing with somebody who's very dominant, very aggressive, or overbearing, because the focus is on how power is used. And with this screw that, it may be that there's been an abuse of power or somebody failing to claim their power. So there are lessons to be learned with this Emperor card. It's a major card. And the lessons have to do with leadership or whether there's some tyranny occurring somewhere. So if you can't get the cooperation or you can't get the backing that you want, you may have to go it alone. But don't look back, because what you thought may not have had potential could actually be something, whether it's rogue, mainstream, against the grain. There's a beauty to it. But you must gain mastery. You must continue to try to elevate your game. And as long as you work in the light, which is interesting because the Emperor is the 12th house, that which is hidden. This says screw the darkness and everything that's with it, and move toward the light and love of the universe. Now, whatever this is, there's a review that you're doing. And maybe, again, it's an opportunity. It's the opportunity to expand beyond your current sphere. It could be to travel, to join forces, to just prove a point, to prove yourself, to prove something to yourself, or to prove something to others. And again, there's some frustration that you're dealing with. Maybe it has to do with a settlement. Maybe it has to do with a third party interfering. Maybe it has to do with some bad news and whether you're capable of dealing with a negative outcome and ready to move past it. You're weighing your options, and you want to do what's right for the good of all, but you also want to make sure that you're taken care of. And again, whatever you're dealing with has some long-lasting results. This is about immortal quality. This is about working on you and what you're putting out there. It could be your legacy that you're focused on. But whatever this is, you have an inordinate amount of swords in this reading. And so there's something challenging taking place. And it ties to thought, communication, strife, conflict, clarity, and things may not be settled. Again, this is about your personal security, your sense of belonging, the foundation for the long term.